Hello Flosstube, my name is Mary Ashcraft. Welcome back to my channel. You can follow me on Instagram at that same name. I have everything spelled and linked down below in the description box. I'm back, even though I didn't go anywhere. I had a video 2 weeks ago and I didn't say anything last week about not having a video, but if you watched that previous video, you probably guessed I didn't have a video because we were all sick. Because we were. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but our COVID tests were negative. Another little girl at daycare, her and her family's tests were negative. 2 kids decided not to get tested and to just quarantine instead. And then our daycare provider tested positive. So we don't know if what we had was COVID or not. But I'm going to take the antibody test in about a month. Hopefully that will tell me if we had it or not. It was the worst cold I have ever had in my almost 29 years of life. So we have thoughts. But I do want to say thank you to everybody who reached out to us. I think like every day there was somebody in DMs on Instagram messaging me, asking how we were doing, asking how the kids were doing, and I'm so grateful for you guys. My mom texted us every day and my 2 best friends, but other than that, nobody else from our family or friends asked how we were doing. I take that back. My husband's mom and grandma, but but other than that, nobody asked how we were doing. And so I thought about it and I was like, I remember when a lot of like chat rooms and gaming started online and you develop these friendships with people around the world and you would talk about them as if you were friends, and then people would say, oh, well, that's not a real friendship, or no, you're not really in love with that person because you've never met them and it's just, that was a weird noise. You've never met them and it's just online, it's just in your head. Internet friendships are real. And I think as we've evolved with the internet, people are realizing that. I talk to so many of you on DMs and I really do feel like we are friends, even though I've never met you guys in person. And with some people, we just talk about stitching. With some people, we talk about our lives. One of my friends, we talk about our marriages and we talk about our kids, and she lives in the same state as my parents. And I'm like, I wonder if I can figure out how to go visit her while I'm there. Or like one of my friends lives in LA and we talk about her son at college, and his college is not too far from me. So it's like we talk about more than just stitching, and even the people that we just talk about stitching, we're still friends, you know? So you guys really showed me, like you really confirmed for me that we are friends. We are legit. I will go to bat for you. I'm assuming you'll go to bat for me. So just thank you to anybody who reached out. Even if it was just responding to the Instagram stories that I posted, like little updates that we were having about us being sick, and just responding to that, even that was enough to make me feel slightly better. It's one thing when like you're sick, but when you're sick and your kids and your husband, you're all sick at the same time and you're miserable, it just sucks. It really sucks. And anybody who has kids or a spouse, or I mean, even if you have a family and you're all sick together, like you get it. So thank you. I really appreciate it. So even though it's been 2 weeks, I probably have the same amount to talk about as if it had been 1 week. I think I looked at my journal and I only did a total of like 8 days of stitching. I did do a lot of reading though, and I finished 6 of Crows. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. They are coming out with a series on Netflix called Shadow and Bone, which was the trilogy of books that preceded this duology. Amazing books. I love them. I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy last year, and I felt like I was in like a haze after reading that book. Like you just can't, oh gosh, you just can't really like fathom reading another book. Like you need a minute. Well, I needed like 6 months. So I'm back to reading. I finished this. I've ordered Crooked Kingdom because that's the next one. And then after these two, there's another duology about a character, my favorite character, from the Shadow and Bone series, King of Scars. And I'm excited to read that one. I think that one, I mean, everybody has said that it's good, but I'm really excited, especially since Nikolai is my favorite character. But this book was amazing. Julie, Kansas City girl in a Colorado world, mentioned a few videos ago how Shadow and Bone was her first series, and then came Six of Crows, and you can tell how much growth she had as a writer, and just how the writing of this is on another level, and I wholeheartedly agree. So if you have any interest in reading or in watching the series on Netflix, it comes out in a month at the end of April. Read the books. Read the books. That's all I gotta say. So let's talk about stitching. I don't know if I said this. This is episode 23. Today is March 25th. You will be seeing this on March 26th. I only have 2 whips to show you, but I have a lot to say about those 2 whips because they are the final 2 of my March Madness. So here is my bracket, my March Madness bracket. So where we left off, I think I was on the final 4. And something that I had mentioned was that Paul Hollywood may default. And it did. All I have left of Paul Hollywood is the quote in the center. And my best friend, who's a graphic designer, I'm making it for her. She needs to design the quote. I thought about charting it myself, but I don't want to chart something that she's not going to like. Even though we call each other twins, I know she would love anything that I did. I want, because it's such a customized piece already, I really want it to be what she wants it to be. So I did not work on Paul Hollywood, so that defaulted and Honeybee moved on. So my final 2 were Honeybee and Irish Blessing, and the voting on this one was back and forth all day. That entire 24 hours was just back and forth between Honeybee and Irish Blessing, and Irish Blessing won by about 5 votes. I was a little disappointed because I thought Honeybee would be a much quicker stitch, and I already have everything to finally, fully finish it as an FFO. So I kind of wanted Honeybee to win to just be able to, knock it out. But I know so many people love Irish Blessing, and I've been working on it for so long that I think people were like, just get it done. So before I show you my progress, though, I'm going to show you my projected winners bracket. I talked about this 1 or 2 videos ago, how I made a projected bracket like I would for March Madness basketball. So I created it on March 3rd at 12:35 p.m. Because I didn't want people thinking I cheated. So I think I mentioned it in my last bit. My busted is fully busted. Did I just say my busted is fully busted? My bracket is fully busted. It got busted on the Elite 8, on the first round. Because I had, go away fly, I had Mr. Finnegan winning against Irish Blessing because I thought more people would think Mr. Finnegan is cute than they would want Irish Blessing to finish. I was very wrong. very, very wrong with what you people think about Mr. Finnegan and Irish Blessing. So, my whole bottom was completely busted. I did get this one right. I projected that Patriotic ABC would win. These two I got right, Paul Hollywood and Honeybee. And then my bracket was busted again because Paul Hollywood defaulted. So basically from here on, it was like majorly busted. But that's okay. It was so much fun. But what I did realize is I don't like stitching on something new every single day. So I think when I do this next year, I would probably structure it a little differently in terms of like what I work on each day. Because it was a lot. And so from now, so starting in April, I am going to have a new start, which I will talk about in a minute, on April 1st. But I'm going to come up with a little bit of a schedule for the next few months because I'm really behind on my stitch-alongs, and I want to make some progress on some other projects. And so I did make a list of my current whips. I counted them, and I counted them just before I started filming, and I already forgot. 5, 10, 14. I have 14 current whips, including Irish Blessing, which, again, I'm hoping to finish by the end of March, because that's the whole point of March Madness. But I'm going to create some kind of a schedule to get some of these done over the next few months, because this is a lot. This is a lot. And a lot of these are big, like big. So, anyways, let's get into the stitching. Okay, so the first one I will show you is Honeybee. I worked on this a couple days while I was sick, because it was an easy one to, you'll see with Irish Blessing, there's a lot of color changes and confetti stitching, and so Honeybee it had a lot more color blocks. So like the cup I outlined the cup in one day. I did all of these, are they called Beescapes? Abby, Top Knot Stitcher, said it in her most recent video, or on one of her lives, and is it a Beescape? Whatever. It's not a beehive. Beehives are different. But, so this was very easy to work on while I was sick. I think I only worked on it or I stitched anything like 2 days that I was sick, because there was one day where I basically slept all day, and I was like, Brett, you're just gonna have to ignore me and deal with the kids yourself, because I literally cannot keep my eyes open. But he handled it well. And with us being sick, it was like I had the worst of it, and then I kind of got better, and then Brett got the worst of it and then got better. So it was kind of like we were able to trade off, whereas the kids, they were really sick when I was really sick. So, it was a miserable week, and he took the entire week off work. I still worked, because I work from home. I still worked while I was sick, which I do not recommend, but I did not want to take the time off, so it is what it is. Okay, so here's how, I did not show you, because we weren't here for St. Patrick's Day, or we weren't doing anything except being sick. We were celebrating today with our green. I meant to put on nails, but I didn't. It's okay. I seriously need to cut back on how much coffee I drink in a day. Okay, so here's what we got. I love this. I just think it is so cute. And it is a lot smaller than I was expecting, which makes me believe that the other ones, like the What's in My Cup, is that what these are called? Yeah, What's in My Cup series ones. Get out of here. That they're also smaller than I thought they were. They just look so big. You know, like when Priscilla and Chelsea show them in their videos, they just look so big. So I think, I'm trying to remember what I had. The last time I showed you, I'm pretty sure I just had this part, this Beescape, if that's what it's called. and these flowers. So the first day that I felt okay enough to stitch, my husband and daughter were playing in the backyard and my baby was asleep, and so I outlined the cup. And I was going to work on filling it in because I thought that would be really easy to do, but I wanted to move on to the beescapes. So then the next day that I stitched, that I was able to stitch, I did these. And you can see, these are just half stitches. Are they called tent stitches? Tent stitches. I'm trying to remember who the first person was that mentioned this. If you have like a big block of color, going through and doing tent stitches, getting it all outlined, and then putting the top stitch on, like, it's just like a mindless activity. I did that on Hello Dear with a few of the things, and that was what I would do if I was on like a court call, or if I was doing something for work, or if I was just in a position where I couldn't really look at my pattern and stitch. You know, if I was in the car, it's just very easy to then do the top stitch or to fill in like this entire block. So that's what those are. They're just half stitches. So this is almost done. All that's left is filling in the cup, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bees, which you can see I've started the bees here and here. So there's 2 bees down here, 4 bees up here. So this will be one that I could probably knock out pretty quickly in April. And I want to, because it's spring right now. I think it's right now is when all of the bees are here in Fresno, pollinating a lot of our crops. Fresno has a lot of almonds and other nuts, as well as stone fruits and citrus. And so, like, I know my coworker's husband has a farm where he does primarily almonds and cotton. And in the springtime, I think it's February, March, is when they bring in the bees to pollinate the almond trees. And it's really pretty. So that's Honeybee. Now, Irish fussing. This one was a little daunting because even though it looks like it's close to a finish, I still felt like it was going to take me a while, and I felt like before I really started working on it as the winner, I thought, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this before the end of March. So here's what it looks like. When I started March Madness, I had most of the letters, except for it had like cut off on the edges from my Q-snap, and I had this picture done, and then I think I had like 1 or 2 stitches on like one of these side motifs. And then in March Madness, I was able to do more of, I think it was this one, more of this side motif, and like just slowly working my way this way to this corner. And then I also finished off the letters and this M. So when this was designated as the winner, I had this side motif and these 3 corners, and basically this whole corner, because I think it really only had a few stitches in it. So I had a lot to do. It's not finished. I keep talking like it is finished. I have a lot to do. Look at that. I'm really happy that it's stitching up so quickly. Okay, so this was the corner that I did when it was announced the winner. This was the first thing I worked on, was this corner. And I felt like this took me a long time. It took me several days to stitch, and I couldn't quite figure out why it was taking so long, but I kind of figured it had to do with the color changes, because there are, hopefully that focuses okay, there are a lot of colors in here. It doesn't look like it, but there are. So I felt like this was just taking a while. But then I did this one in one night. So I'm thinking because I did this one and it took me a while, I was able to also kind of figure out it because they're all the same. It's a mirrored thing. It was like I kind of already knew where all the colors were going. I wasn't having a hard time figuring it out and counting and all that stuff. So this one stitched up really fast. And then last night I did what I felt like was a lot. I went down, I did all of this, I went over, and then did all that. So what I found that I did differently between the two corners was here, I was doing whatever colors based on whatever one I needed to do here. So like the orange or whatever. Well, it just didn't anchor it. I don't know if that's the right word. It was harder to do it when you're working on like the smaller pieces first. So then when I moved on and I did this one, I did some of the larger color pieces first. So like you can see here, I did the dark blue and the black, and because I did that, it'll be much easier to fill in all of these other colors because I'm not going and hoping, oh, I hope I counted right, getting all the way over there. So this is stitching up much quicker now that I've gotten that first corner done. I know what I'm doing. And because it's the 25th, we have 5 more days of the month, 6 more days. No, technically 7 days, one if you count today. 7 more nights. Wow, that was a lot to get to that. 7 nights of stitching left in March. I think I can do it. I'm positive I can do it. Oh gosh. So I know I'm going to frame this. But I keep going back and forth whether I want to try to frame it myself or get it professionally framed. The only thing I'm worried about with framing it myself is my margins are just small. And I feel like a professional would probably do it better. They'd also be able to do the matting, which I don't know how to do that. It's going to be a gift, so that's the other reason why I'm like, it probably would be better just to do it professionally. Especially if I think that this will kind of be like an heirloom piece. It's going to be a gift for my grandma. And I would assume that one day it will make its way back to me, for obvious reasons, and then pass it down to my kids. So I think I'm leaning towards professionally framed. I think so. I did another one. The very first video I did, I talked about one that I did for my grandma. I got that professionally framed. You will see that on this channel at some point because my grandma passed away in 2016, and my grandpa, since then, it's like every time you go visit him, he's like, here, take something. He is very much a minimalist. Very much a minimalist. So I know that that is in his house right now. And my mom has already said it's going to go back to me, which I kind of assumed it would. So at some point you will see that one, but that one's professionally framed. So I'm kind of like, well, then, both grandmas will have theirs professionally framed. So that is all of my whips. I have a little bit of haul because when I am sick, I like to online shop. It is a habit I'm going to try to curb a little bit. Starting in April, I'm going to do a no spend, no buy on really anything of excess. But mainly stitchy stuff because that's, if I'm not buying groceries, I'm buying cross-stitch stuff. I'm doing it with a couple of my friends on Instagram. Feel free to join me and hold me accountable. But because I'm doing that, I'm getting all of my spending in now. I already placed another order with Top Knot Stitcher for more floss that I need for one of the things I'm trying to kit up. I need to go to Joann and get the floss for my new start for April 1st. So I'm just trying to get it all knocked out, which probably is not that good for my budget, but we're not going to talk about that. Okay, so my first bit of haul. Ooh. Clay by Kim. This was a difficult one to score, but I got it. How beautiful is that sakura flower, that cherry blossom? And after I purchase it, so every time I make a Clay by Kim purchase, I send a picture to Rocio because she's definitely the one that influenced me to start buying these. This is a needle minder, in case you did not know Clay by Kim. So every time I make a purchase, I send a picture to Rocio, and she tells me she also was able to score one on the same day that I got this. And then she's like looking at them, she's like, I think we got basically the same one. And there are just minor differences, but we basically got the same one. So that's kind of cool. We're like Stitchy twins with our needle minders. I love this so much. It's so pretty. And the ones that she has coming out this week, ooh, they are beautiful. I'm going to try to get one because I have an obsession with flowers, and they're gorgeous. They are gorgeous. Oh, I purchased two digital patterns. I purchased Hello Pumpkin from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This is Sean from Craftivating Creations. This was her March Madness winner, so she's like stitching like crazy to finish it. I cannot wait to see hers finished. The other one that I purchased is brand new, and that is Hello Petal. Oh, this is just so much white. So bright. Oh wait, I did this earlier. There we go. There's Hello Petal. So it's very spring. It's the spring tree, very Eastery pastel colors. This is what I'm going to be starting on April 1st. Evelyn from Evelyn Across the Pond and Sean from Craftivating Creations, they are doing a stitch along. They're going to stitch it together, and I was like, I'm joining in because it'll get me to actually work on it. Evelyn mentioned that she is going to do a color conversion, and I'm thinking I might do the same. I don't know what colors I'm going to use yet. These colors are very, I don't know, they're just very bright, and I like pastels, but and bright colors, but I like more muted pastels and muted colors. So, I need to sit down and figure out exactly which colors I'm going to swap. For the most part, I'll keep the same palette. So I'm going to keep the pink and the yellow and the green and all that, but just maybe a different shade of pink and a different shade of yellow. I am going to change the colors of that mouse, though, the one with like a gray head and a brown butt, because that brown butt is driving me insane. So I'm going to make him a gray mouse because brown mice just make me think of rats, and no. I just thought I could make him look like Remy from Ratatouille, and I could exchange the little flowers on his head for like a chef's hat. How cute would that be? That might take a lot more effort than I want to do. So I'm excited to start that. So I did purchase that. I actually did not pay anything for those because when I was the Caterpillar Stitcher of the Month in December, and I got a 20-pound gift card. So that covered both of those patterns, and I still have a little bit left. So I'm hoping that will cover a majority of the summer tree that comes out sometime in the next couple months. Okay, so my last bit of haul is an order from Top Knot Stitcher. Oh no, and an order from Etsy. So I'm working on kitting up Frogwarts year 1. So here's Frogwarts year 1. I love this pattern. This is just a beautiful pattern. And they gave us a sneak peek of year 2. It has Hermione as a cat. So I'm working on kitting up both years because the color palette is the same except year 2 added like 2 or 3 floss colors. I'm going to do a mix of Fancy Floss and DMC. And so for year 1, I ordered some Gentle Arts. And I got these from Etsy because Old Purple Paint is one of the main colors that is used in both, and you need 2 skeins of it, and I couldn't find it anywhere except this one Etsy seller. I'll put her link down below in case, because I don't remember the name of the store, but in case you are also needing some Gentle Arts, she had a ton of Gentle Arts. So this is Old Purple Paint. This is it's like a purpley gray, and I'm thinking based on this, I'm guessing it's for the sorting hat. But this color is used a lot in both year 1 and year 2, so I bought 4 skeins of it. I also purchased Black Raspberry Jam. This was a hard one to find as well. This is like a dark bluish purple color. Very pretty. I really like this. Again, used in both, but I think I should be able to use 1 skein between both years. And then Deep Sea. This is a beautiful teal color. Beautiful teal. Very, very pretty. And again, used in both, but I think 1 skein should be enough. I did find that I had 3 colors from my stash. I just need to bobbinate this one. But 28, 3363, and 500. So there are a lot more colors than this. You can see on the back there's a lot of colors. But I placed another order with Top Knot Stitcher the other day for some Classic Colorworks, and I don't know if she had any of the Gentle Arts. I think she just had the Classic Colorworks. So I was able to, so that's coming. And since she lives in the Bay Area, I already got a shipping notification for it, and it should be here like within the next day or 2. So then what I also I also had an order from Top Knot Stitcher, and so I was looking for fabric for this, and when I had looked up the called for fabric, which is parchment fiber on a whim, and I was talking with Rocio about it, and we had both decided we were going to do it on the called for, we were having a hard time finding that fabric. And so I'm like, well, I guess I'll just find a different fabric that is a neutral color that kind of looks like a parchment color for Frogwarts year 1. And so I'm looking at Top Knot, and I see this one fabric, and I'm like, I think I like this one best. It's even named Parchment. And then before I purchased it, I looked at this again to see, oh, what was it exactly that was called for? It was the fabric that Abby had. So I was able to get the Parchment from Fiber on a Whim, and I got it in 28 count, which means all the other years are going to be on 28 count, which I'm fine with. So there's a lot, which that's good because I have no idea how big this is going to be and how much size, how much it's going to take up. So this is, it looks very green right now. It is just a very neutral color. It looks like parchment. If you've ever been to a museum and have seen parchment. So this I think is going to look really good with the few minimal colors that I already have. So I'm very excited about this. This I got from Abby at Top Knot. I also purchased a few patterns from her. Most of them, I think all of them except for one, are Needlework Expo patterns. The first one, because it's so cute, and I have an obsession with barns, is The Simple Life by Manny Di Donna. Is that Simona? No. Yeah, Simona. Oh, I'm not even going to try to butcher that last name. But this is super cute. It has a house, it has a barn, it has some little sheepies. We do the whole farmhouse decor vibes. Even though Fresno is considered a city, it is really like rural, and a lot of people wear like cowboy boots here. That is what I typically wear when I go anywhere. My husband and I and my daughter. My daughter wears her cowboy boots with literally everything. Sometimes you're like, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, so this is very fitting for like our area. Okay, so there was a thing that a lot of the designers did for Needlework Expo, and it was called Moo the Merrier. It's where anybody who wanted to participate would design something with a cow. This was so cool for me because ever since I was born, my nickname to most of my family is Moo. I'm Auntie Moo to my niece and nephew. My niece, she's turning 16 in June, and I'm like, I can't deal. My niece, I think, was like 4 or 5 years old when she found out my real name is not actually Moo, it's Mary. So I had to get some cows. The first one that I absolutely fell in love with is Bovine Plaid by Little Stitch Girl, because I love plaid. And it's a plaid cow. How cute. How cute is that? This Moo the Merrier series, they created a sulky pack for it. Abby does have the sulky pack, but I was thinking about getting the sulky pack, but I decided not to. And the only thing with this one that I think a lot of the others do is Jordan didn't give a DMC conversion, so I'm gonna be doing my own conversion for this to DMC or Fancy Floss or whatever I have, which is completely fine. But I just think that is the cutest thing, that little cow with the sunflowers, and I love it. Okay, so then the other cow that I bought is For Freedom by Annie B's Folk Art. Love this little cow. I want to stitch this to have it done for 4th of July because it is so freaking cute, and it's not fully, like a full flag, and not fully a Betsy Ross flag, but anything with a Betsy Ross flag I'm all about because she is a distant relative of mine. So I just love this little cow. I just love it. Okay, so then the last pattern that I bought is going to be a gift for my mom. So Mom, if you're watching, I don't even know if you make it this far in my videos, honestly, but if you're watching, I'll talk to you later. Turn it off now. So my parents got married. My mom and my stepdad got married in the summer of 2019. Right after they got married, they had a honeymoon. That was kind of like their unofficial honeymoon because my grandpa and my stepdad's parents went with them. They did a trip to Europe. They did a cruise, and then they drove around. I think they drove around like Austria and Switzerland and maybe Germany. I don't remember exactly. So that was kind of their unofficial honeymoon. Because they did leave right after the wedding, but they went with their parents. So, but in February 2020, they had their official honeymoon, and they went to Hawaii. And it was my mom's first time to Hawaii. My stepdad had been there before, but when they went, it was right before everything started shutting down. And it was really weird because they would go do something and then the next day that thing would be shut down because of COVID. So like one day they went to Pearl Harbor and the next day they found out that it had closed after they had gone. And when they came home, they flew home, and then the next day they stopped all flights to and from Hawaii. So it was just a really weird thing. But they had so much fun, and my mom loves Hawaii. She's always been obsessed with Hawaii and like palm trees and the, you know, Hawaiian flowers and everything tropical. So I picked up Pretty Little Hawaii by Satsuma Street. I don't remember all of the islands that they went to. I don't think that they went to all of them, obviously, but they were only there for like a week. So I don't think they've seen all of these things, but I think they've seen enough of them that they would really like this. I'm going to give my mom, this is also giant, and this pattern is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to give my mom the two options when I give this to her. I'm going to tell her that I could stitch it for her, or I will kit it up for her and she can stitch it herself. She has started cross-stitching again. She's working on a Christmas pattern, and she has made a lot of progress on it because she and my stepdad went to Wyoming last week or the week before, and they were snowed in for most of their trip. So she basically cross-stitched the entire time. And they went to visit my stepbrother and sister-in-law. So, but she is very much a monogamous stitcher. So I don't know what she's going to pick, but part of me also kind of thinks she would want to stitch it herself. And I think she would have fun stitching it. So I'm going to give her the option. And she can decide if she wants to stitch it herself or if she wants me to stitch it. And if she wants me to stitch it, I hope she doesn't expect it to be done by the end of the year. So, but I love this series from Satsuma Street, all the pretty little places. I really love the London and Paris because I love London and Paris. So and when I saw this a while ago, I thought this would be cute to get for them. But that's everything. I do have a little shout out. My shout out of the week goes to Jessica from The Needle and Floss. She has, that's her Flosstube name, is The Needle and Floss. She has her own Etsy store where she does her own patterns of like game controllers. They're really cute. And she cross stitches and knits. Is that knitting? I think she knits. But she is so adorable. I just love her. She's very bubbly. And just is very nice. And we've talked on Instagram DMs, and she is very, very sweet. So go check out Jessica. She stitches, I'm trying to think. Let me pull up her. She stitches similar things, but also not similar things as me. Oh yeah. Okay. So she did this one. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. This gramophone with like these embroidered, or maybe they're French knots. No, I think it's embroidery. These flowers. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? But here's one of her game consoles that she has a pattern for. It's a PlayStation controller, but she has some really cute projects. I love this one too. So she's really great. Go check out her channel. I watch all of her videos. I am very behind on all of my Flosstube watching because I was sick. They're not all Flosstube, but my watch later list on YouTube is like over 100 videos. I'm like slowly chipping away at it. So that's everything. Oh my gosh. Like this is a normal length of video because I really only had the same amount that I always have. So what am I going to work? Oh, I'm just going to keep working on Irish Blessing. So next week, that's probably all I'm going to have to talk about is Irish Blessing next week. just FYI. Hopefully though, between now and then, I will have created some kind of a plan for my whips, what I'm going to work on. The only thing that I know as of right now is I'm going to start Hello Petal on April 1st. I just want to at least get it started. I have no intentions of finishing it in April because it is a larger pattern. I mean, Hello Dear was a stitch along and it took us several months. So, or maybe not several months, maybe like a month and a half. But I at least want to get it started. But I have so much catching up to do. I know in April I'm going to be working on Christmas Wreath and Dreaming Girl and Sense and Sensibility and Hello Petal. And then at the end of April, I'm going to visit my parents in Arizona for my son's first birthday. And I'm only going to bring one thing with me. And as of right now, I think that one thing is going to be my Christmas list by Silver Creek Stamplers, because I'm also super behind on that if I want to have it done by Christmas. So that's it. So thanks for joining me this week, and I will, let me stall for a second so I can think if there was anything else I wanted to mention, but I don't think so. So I hope you guys have a great weekend and a great week stitching, and I will talk to you later. Bye.